Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this is 8-1 circle sectors. This is some park material that we're going to go over. I'll go over the first couple problems and show you how it's done, and then hopefully you guys could take it from there and finish off the rest of them and get a 10 out of 10. Alright, so the arc length formula, when we're going from degrees to radians, the arc length formula is going to be here, right here on the bottom. I try to make it nice and pretty for us. Arc length is equal to the amount of degrees that you're given times, make a little extra one there, times pi times radius divided by 180. Now you're going to be given the degrees and you're going to be given the radius. All you got to do is plug those two numbers into this equation, multiplying all three of these numbers, or I'm sorry, multiply the degrees and the radians. Probably want to leave the pi off on the end because it's a little bit prettier when you leave pi on the end. So let's rearrange it that way. Divide that number by 180 and then slap on the pi at the end. Some other formulas you might find online is that S equals R times theta. That's just saying arc length is equal to the radius times theta, and theta represents radians instead of degrees. So arc length is equal to radius times radians. Arc length is equal to radius times pi times degrees divided by 180. That's another way you could write it. I like using this one though. Arc length is equal to degrees times radians, or sorry, degrees times radius divided by 180, and then you put the pi at the end. Alright, so let's do a couple problems here. I'll walk you through it. This is what it looks like here on the PARCC exam, based on the practice test. The circle with center F is divided into sectors. In circle F, EB is a diameter. So they're saying this is an AB is the diameter, which makes sense because 100 plus 80 is 180 degrees. And the radius of the circle is 3 units. So we're given the radius of 3, and we're given a whole bunch of degrees here. We're going to drag and drop each arc length in this little section here. So we're going to click it and drag it over. So ungroup. So we could click it and drag and drop it into this little section over here. In this case, I'm not going to drag and drop, but that's just what the computer would do. When you're on the PARCC test, you just have to click it and drag it over. But we're not going to do that in this video. So we just got to match them. So we got to find is the central angle is AFB. The central angle of AFB is 80 degrees. So we're going to do 80 times 3 divided by 180. Then we're going to simplify the fraction and then put the pi at the end. And it's going to be one of these 4 answers. So let's bring up a graphing calculator, because it's easiest when you bring up a graphing calculator and do things on a graphing calculator. So we have 80 degrees, and it's 3 units is the radius. So second quit, clear it, and let's zoom in here. It's 80 degrees and the radius is 3 on our problem. So what we do 80, because it's 80 degrees, times 3, enter, divided by 180. Then we get a crazy decimal, and then to change that crazy decimal, we hit math, 1, enter, and we're going to change that decimal into a fraction. So we got 4/3, and then we put the pi at the end, so it's 4/3 pi. So 80 degrees is 4/3 pi. So 80 degrees, or AFB, is going to be 4/3 pi, which is the first option. So AFB is 4/3 pi. Then we're going to put 60 in. 60 times 3. So we bring up the calculator again. We do 60 times 3. Divide that by 180, which is 1. Math, 1, enter. 1, so we know it's 1 pi. So 60 degrees, angle BFC is 60 degrees. So the pi right here, that will be dragged and dropped into BFC, into that little box. Next is 40 degrees. So we do the 40 degrees. in the graphing calculator. So to do 440 times radius of 3 units. Divide that by 180, because we're just plugging in the calculator. Plugging it right into the formula. Then we do math, 1, enter. We get 2/3. So 2/3, 40 degrees, that'll be 2/3 pi. So my 2/3 pi, which I accidentally typed 2/9, but that's supposed to be a 3. So that's actually, let's fix that. That'd be a 3. 2/3 pi. So 2/3 gets dragged into CFD and put it right in here. Last but not least, we do the 100, 5/3 pi. Should be the answer if we do a process of elimination. So 100 degrees. So 100 times 3, which we know is 300. Divide by 180. And we get math, 1, enter. And we get 5/3. So it's going to be 5/3 pi. So it turns out 5/3 pi is AFE. And now I'll go into this spot. So this is just a drag and a drop. All right, let's do the next problem together. So what we have here, we have the circle with center F is divided into sectors. In circle F, EB is a diameter. So EB is a diameter. The radius of the circle F is 7 units. And we're going to get a whole bunch of these and we're going to just drag and drop. So we know the important information is the 7 units for the radius there. And the degrees that we're working with here. So angle AFB is 75 degrees, aka that guy. Right here. So we're going to do 75 times 7 and divide that by 180. So we put that in the calculator. 75 times 7 divided by 180. Hit math, 1, enter, and we get 35 over 12. And we know that's a pi after it. So this 75 degrees here times the 7 over 180. When you simplify that, you're going to get 35 over 12, as we saw. So the answer of 35 over 12 pi, we take that guy right here, and we drag it and drop it into the AF box right over here. We now do 55 degrees, so it'll be 55 times the radius, so 55 times 7. So 55 times 7 divided by 180. Then hit math, 1, enter on the graphing calculator, and we get 77 divided by 36. So 77 divided by 36, that'll be this guy right here. So angle BFC is 77 over 36 pi. We drag it and drop it into here. Next one we do 60 degrees, because that's what CFD is. CFD is 60 degrees, so 60 times 7. So we put that in a calculator. $60 times 7 divided by 180. Math, 1, enter. We get 7/3. So it's going to be 7/3 pi for the 60 degrees, or CFB. So 7/3, we click it and we drag it over. So this guy gets dragged over to here. Alright, so now if we bring up, so that was number 2. Next we're going to do number 3, but we're going to do number 3 on the Google form itself. Because the Google form looks a little bit different. So let's take a look at number 3.
There's a ping pong meeting right after school in the cafeteria.
So here's problem number 3 on the Google form. As you can see, it's the same setup here because I did pictures and put the pictures of what it would look like. Let's do it together. The circle with center F is divided into sectors. In circle F, EB is the diameter. Now EB, that really isn't the diameter. It's really EF and then FB. So EB is not a diameter because 110 plus 35 ain't 180. So I should say EB is not the diameter. And you'll see like 1 or 2 on the next 2 problems. It's the same story. Not a big deal. 9 units. So if we want to find central angle AFB, so AFB, we take that 35 degrees because that's angle AFB. 35 degrees times 9. So on a graphing calculator, once again, we're going to do 35 degrees times 9. 35 times 9. We get our number. We divide it by 180. Then we hit math 1, enter, and we get 7/4. That's 7/4 pi. So we look here. That's going to be 7/4 pi. Well, as you can see on a Google form, I can't click it and drag it over. I had to improvise a little bit on this Google form. So what you got to do on number 3, but that's 7/4 pi for angle AFB, so 7/4 pi has to be clicked and dragged and up over there. And so this guy, that won't work. But AFB, I get like a little column here of the choices. So it's like a multiple choice once again. So angle AFB, located right here. 7/4 pi, you go down to 7/4 pi, and you bubble it in. Now this is saying this question requires once per row, so that means we have to look at angle BFC. So we're going to go BFC, so it'll be 45 times 9 divided by 180. So we bring that up, let's zoom it in. So it's 45 times 9 divided by 180. Math 1, enter, and we get 9/4. So BFC or BFC is 9/4. That's that last option. We could drag and drop it, or since we got this little modified version, BFC is 9/4 pi. So we click that. Let me bubble it in. Oops, sorry, I meant to zoom out. So BFC is this column. 9/4 is down here on the bottom. So BFC is 9/4, and you click that. And you continue along with the process. 90 degrees, 90 times 9. So next step is 90 times 9. Divided by 180. We get 4.5, math 1, enter. We get 9/2. So 9/2 is the answer for this next one. So angle CFD is 9/2. That'd be the first option. So you do 9/2 pi. AFE, by process of elimination, you know that's 11/2. And that's how you submit your answers using this Google form. Whoop, did it again. CFD is 9/2 pi, so it's up top. So CFD 9/2 pi, we click that button right there. And by process of elimination, you know angle AFE is 11/2 pi. And we located that button. Alright, if you have any questions on this stuff, feel free to ask me during extra help. I'd be happy to help you out. Alright, have yourself a good night. Make sure you finish off the rest of the problems and submit it, and hopefully you get a nice 10 out of 10. Alright, good night.